All right, it is the afternoon drive here at BCB Live. Sir Rick, Drive Safe Day, producer, here this afternoon. Drive Safe, what's going on with you this afternoon?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm trying to figure out what is going on with this. I went and got a haircut, and still, it just doesn't do what I need it to do, and I'm getting frustrated with it.
I'm going to say that you probably should look at that before the show.
No. It's been an ongoing problem all weekend.
I know, but you like to do it like right when the show starts.
You
catch yourself. It's like you're checking yourself out a little bit. Like,
I do check
who's the guy in the blue striped shirt over there? Who is that man?
Hey, I'm just echoing what's already being said out there in the real world, right there, by all of the listeners and all of the people participating on the show today.
You know, and you got your leopard print glasses on.
You know what?
Today.
Absolutely.
I like that. Hey, Sandra, thanks for sharing those glasses with Drive Safe Day. We do appreciate when you let him borrow your glasses as well. That is absolutely disgusting. Don't ever do that again.
That was my leopard growl. There's nothing wrong with a little leopard growl.
Right now we got the producer and myself, and we're not a big fan of at least I'm not producer.
Yeah, no, I think if we continue doing the growl on air, we might get taken off. I think that's an FCC violation.
It is not.
So I'm gonna have to get with our people on that.
Hey, that is requested.
It's almost like he's calling the Tiger King to come get him.
He's like, I heard you got a shorter sentence. Now, come on over.
He hasn't been sentenced yet.
Take me back to the farm, Tiger King.
He hasn't been sentenced yet, but I do know that I think they're going to talk about shortening it by 2 years on a 20-year sentence.
You know what? You're in luck.
I know.
I'll give you some time to work on that growl there, Tiger.
Oh, okay. So feline fact, fun fact, feline fact. All right, you ready?
You drop a cat and it always lands on his feet.
No, that's if it has a tail. If it doesn't have a tail, it can't do that, by the way. Did you know
How many times have you tested that?
What?
I'm going to go that's fake news.
No, that's real news because it rotates the tail in the opposite direction. Yes.
All right.
But my fun feline fact, if it is a cat that can roar, it cannot purr. And if it can, or if a cat can purr, it cannot roar. Did you know that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't
That's why a lion can't purr because it can roar. But a cat can purr.
I've heard lions purr before.
No, you've never heard a lion purr. Get out of here.
I have heard one.
Are you fun facting that? See, I need to fun fact that. I believe that. I think I saw that on the
Lion King.
No.
Lion King.
I think I saw that on the Animal Planet.
Right?
I like Animal Planet, and I think I saw that on Animal Planet. I mean, y'all not like what's his name? What's that guy's name? Bert?
Steve Irwin.
Huh?
Yeah, he's not dead. He's not alive, right? You know that, right? That you're probably watching a rerun.
I'm okay with
I'm
reruns.
just saying, you know, he's
I don't
not
think
alive.
that's an original version of Gilligan's Island that I saw yesterday either, but I laughed at it all the same.
Again, your analogies are just they're crazy.
Because Dick
crazy.
Buck just is no longer with us as well.
I don't know where you're going with this Drive Safe Dave. You know what? This is just another reason to tune in the morning because we don't have these kinds of things going on in the morning.
Why?
Only in the afternoon show.
Why? Because
if you're wanting to know, you know what? Should I tune into the morning? Yes, you should. Yes, quick. Starting tomorrow.
Better quality, better prepared. But I wanted to bring that fun fact about, I guess, felines. I remember. Did you look that up? Did you quality check
I
that?
did. You're right about that. Lions cannot purr. There's a certain bone, I believe in the thyroid or something like that.
Yeah.
The hyoid bone is only partly ossified and fundamentally changes what noises the animals can make.
Yeah, so if it can roar, it can't purr, but if it can purr, it definitely can.
Can it growl softly?
It can. Isn't that what a purr is?
Isn't that a purr? Isn't that so? If a lion growls softly,
But you can't. You can hear a cat scream. You just can't hear it roar.
I don't know. I'm not an animal guy. You know, I don't have any cats, no dogs,
I don't
no
either.
fish.
I don't have any of those. But you have had dogs and or cats in your
I've
lifetime.
never had a cat in my life.
I mean, you haven't?
No, never petted one ever.
Never petted a cat in your entire
I've never
life.
petted
Well,
a cat.
I've got good reason for you to continue to not be an animal guy because as of yesterday, Lake Tahoe has actually reported chipmunks that have tested positive for the plague.
Who is the bubonic plague?
The bubonic plague, yes.
What is
so
that?
Lake,
Now, we saw some chipmunks up in.
Wait a minute. That's
up in the
transmitted by
mountains.
fleas. So I'm assuming that if you're contracting fleas from chipmunks, you might get the bubonic plague.
You
right?
might get the plague. You might get the plague. Yeah, so if you thought that COVID was bad, now we've got the bubonic plague to worry about
However,
too.
believe it or not, if I'm not mistaken, we have developed some natural immunity to the plague over the last 1,000 years. that it
Much
has
like
been around.
COVID.
No, that hasn't been around 1,000 years. But the bubonic plague has been around for a while, and we have developed some natural immunity to that. And that would be most everyone except Native Americans, I believe.
Well, we've actually just gotten, according to this article here, we just have antibiotics, and that's actually been a pretty big solution
Indians
to
don't
that.
have
Is that
antibiotics?
Yes.
No, a natural antibodies towards it as well. The only Europeans had, before the discovery of America, only Europeans had been exposed to and or been around the bubonic plague because it hadn't crossed the ocean yet, and that
So
was
what were you saying about the Indians then?
that they hadn't truly been
Yet?
genetically as exposed as the Europeans had.
All right. Another fun fact. You are full of them today. We like it here. Hey, speaking of, things that kind of go along with that.
COVID.
The COVID, right?
Yes.
Hey, we want to remind each and every one of you to wash your hands, hot water, wear a mask. You know, wear it all the time. Wear it when you're walking into the Loves. You know, make sure that you still wear a glove when you're pumping the fuel.
Yes.
We want to make sure that you're doing your part. And if you haven't got the shot yet, I've got the shot. You know, we are, thank you. We are, everybody now has got the shot except for my youngest daughter. She's the only one without it.
Okay.
You know, it's, I guess get it done. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't going to get sick anyway, but because it's the right thing to do, I got it done.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. I think if you can and you are okay with it, I think you should go get it done. It is proven a genuine effectiveness against any variant thus far. The numbers speak for themselves. I don't know why.
So you're saying nobody has got it?
I didn't say that. I said it is proven effectiveness.
Yeah,
That's
there's
what
a 97%.
So has the anti, you know, the when if you've had COVID already,
Oh,
that's
my
also
goodness.
proof.
So because seatbelts only save people
We're not
50%
talking
of the
about
time, we
seatbelts.
shouldn't wear
We're
them?
not
So to
talking
get
about
back to the
seatbelts.
original point, 97% of people who have been hospitalized have not received the shot.
Wow.
And that
How do
is
we know they haven't? But what if they're just saying that?
What if we just say, hey,
they,
we've had
well,
the
you can
shot?
look at people's medical records
Yeah,
and
you know
see
what?
their.
That's actually a registered thing, the COVID
Is it
shot.
registered?
Of course it is. You got a card, didn't you?
I got one for the first shot, yes.
Yeah, it's a card, right? And then it was had as a number on it and with your name on it.
No, so you
And that's
just-
on the
so
National
now-
Registry.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
Yep.
I
It
didn't
is
know
part
that.
of my vaccine, like
Yeah, it's part of your
record
vaccine
now,
record on the
so-
national.
So I heard there was a job opening on the radio today not BCB Live, but there's other radio stations outside
Not as good.
of BCB
Are
Live.
you sure that there's other radio stations?
Not near as good,
not near as informative as
or
well.
entertaining.
Hey, but listen, and they did say that you must have both shots before you work there. It's the first job that I've heard advertised, at least, saying that you must have both your shots before you come work here.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. So the Pentagon is actually requiring all military personnel to have both.
That's been a while.
No, and I understand that. Well, they are publicly coming out and saying that both. But well, yeah, we do have a Pentagon specialist in here.
All armed forces have been required to get their shot for some time, and it is something that that we have exacted upon the men and women that sacrifice much and most for this country, as usual. They're usually the ones asked first to go get it, and how important it is that they do.
Well, that was just a little too late. They should have had that, the COVID shot, a few months ago.
But also, Tyson, I believe, is also making that. So.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's talking about. But yeah, I'm not sure. But the Pentagon is, what are you talking about? The military's leadership, right?
Yeah, the Department of Defense is moving to make the vaccines required for all department employees, not just active duty military, but anybody who's in the Department of Defense is going to be required to get a vaccine.
Yeah, not just active duty military, but anybody within that department. Yeah, whether you be civil service and or active duty military, I believe is what they're trying to say. And they want not only people that are themselves directly in the military, but anybody that exposes themselves to those personnel as well. So
yeah, and you brought something up, I think it was the weekend, but you brought up, or maybe been Friday, but a good point that you said, growing up in the military, we just got shots all the time.
And you didn't even ask.
I didn't even think about that. Here I am worried about COVID shot. You know what? They don't. Back in the military, you just got shots because you got them. And you're absolutely right. I've totally forgot about that. You know what? It's Friday. Let's go get a shot.
They would send you a letter, or you would line up at school, over the American school, and you would just go get a shot. I mean, there was no question, and you just went and did it. It was no big deal.
I had to get like 4 shots just to go to college. Like, they were like, you can't even come in here unless you have all of this. And so I was like,
y'all don't even remember back in the 70s, and they had your card. You had this inoculation card that you carried overseas wherever you went. You had that filled out, and you just had it. You carried it with you along with your military ID. You just had to have that before you attended school over there. You had to have that when you came in.
Yeah, and when you went overseas, you got all sorts of shots anyway, right? Everything. It was crazy.
And everybody's worried about one shot, and then I'll tell you an interesting fact that I heard on the news. I was watching a 60-minute episode about COVID and the treatment of it, and he was like, one of the doctors was explaining, a lot of people are funny about getting the shot because they don't know, because it is a recently released product. And he said, but they never worry about the recently released products when they get sick. They're willing to take them all, whether when they're sick and in the hospital, they're good with all of the products that we have just recently released, whether they're okay or not by the FDA. They're ready to issue them in and be treated.
I think that's a little different, though.
Why?
That actually might be dependent on the person,
Let's just do it after post-reactive.
When you're sick and you're at that point, you're more willing to take a chance on something, as opposed to if you're not sick.
Yeah, and I'm somebody who believes in that, like, vaccine science is a real thing, right? But like, I think typically, whenever I think it's up to the person typically to be like, okay, yeah, I'll try something experimental here. I don't think everybody's going to take that. Not just talking about vaccines, but if I'm in the hospital and someone's like, hey, we tried this in Sweden like 3 times. Do you want to try this? And like see if it'll help you. I'm a little bit skeptical on that.
I don't know. What did the trials go like in Sweden?
It wasn't really a question, but yeah,
you what he is. He's a little skeptical. You're not allowed to be skeptical.
No, I'm okay. I'm just like, well, how did it go? How did the 3 trials go in Sweden? Serious. And what benefits do I get? Will I have more hair? Will it not be as gray on top or any of that? So
they have hair dye now. And that's been tried more times than just in Sweden.
Big Blue used to wear hair dye. You remember that?
Yeah.
He used to always dye his hair. He'd come back in, and on
He's
Monday he'd be brown hair, and Friday be gray again. I mean, it didn't last long, but Monday brown, Friday be back to
And
gray.
now
And
he's
finally, he
just
just gave it up.
Yeah,
So,
he's
you know
giving
what?
up. Solid
I'm done.
gray.
Done with it. Hey, how many days are we driving safe out here? Anybody know? 88, 89?
No, I think it's 83.
Anybody?
83 or 84.
Anybody out there listening know how
84?
many days
84.
we're at?
I'm going to say 84.
Okay, 80, 83,
I'm going
84,
87.
80, okay, how about this? It's 83 days of no preventable accidents and 24 of
days to
getting
get
out and looking.
That's right. I knew it was 3 days.
All right. I gave you a little bit more credit than you deserve. I gave you a little bit more. Hey, but prove, Sir Rick, right on this. Let's go a few more days,
Yeah.
and then let's continue it. Because Drive Safe Dave, we want to focus one day at a time.
Yeah, and let me tell you what, we're doing very well in the 100 deadliest days, right? We're moving right along, and we're going to get it. And, man, all we have to do is focus on what it is, the fundamentals, be out there, be attentive to the detail, make sure that you're doing the right thing out there and you're following the BCBs of trucking. It's real important that you know in your heart that you're going to do everything you can for safety, and you're going to make the decision based upon protecting life.
And that means during this time right now, when it's hot outside, we're drinking plenty of water.
Oh, yeah.
We're keeping the fluids in us. You know, not Dr. Pepper, not Coke. And Drive Safety, I know you're a Pepsi fan, not Pepsi. Even if your daughter works there, we're not drinking that. There's nothing like good old-fashioned water. And producer, bear with me here, but it doesn't have to be filtered either. It can be straight out of the hose, baby.
It can be.
Have you ever drank water out of the hose?
I used to exclusively drink water out of the hose for a few years of my
What does
life.
that
I think
mean,
that's what ended up
exclusively?
stunting
So
my
somebody
growth.
handed you a glass at the table, you said, no, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no,
and
I'm
you
like,
ran
hey,
out
why would I
the
do that?
restaurant
I've got a hose out back. What do you want?
What are you talking about? I don't even understand that.
I would go to the restaurant and I'd bring my own hose and I'd hook it up into the kitchen and that's what I would drink.
No. Not on the table. Hang on. I'm unrolling it right now.
Do you guys have lemon that I can drink with this?
I'm having a hard time with that fun fact. I'm challenging. Challenge.
Hey, there was some water that tasted fine, but there were some hoses that just didn't. It wasn't good to drink water out. I don't know. It left a horrible.
Oh, you know,
taste.
you had to, depending on it, you had to let it run for a minute.
Yeah, you can't
Because
just
if you
go in
let
with
it-
the hot water.
yeah,
You got to let it run a little
my
bit.
goodness,
Yeah.
there is nothing like hot water hose, and then it'd been sitting in there, and especially one of the lengthy ones, like the 100 or 120 foot.
Oh yeah.
And then it just so you gotta let it run and clear out. And no matter how much you let it run, you still got a little bit of that vinyl taste to the rubber vinyl taste or whatever that was. That right lets you know you were outside.
All right. Hey, so quick story. So, dehydration is real though. You've got to make sure you're drinking plenty of water out there. That we're being for real about that. So back in my high school days, this is so picture it. We're overseas in Panama. We're running outside, and it's like 90 degrees year round,
and
humid. And our football coach and Coach Husted, I love you, baby, love you.
Salt pills.
We would be running out there, and his thing was deny yourself. Don't drink water. If you drink water, you're a coward. We would go to the water coolers, and sometimes there would just be ice in it, no water. And you'd be like, and nothing would come. You're waiting for it to melt. Deny yourself is what we were taught growing up, producer.
It's a miracle you're hosting this show today, is all I have to say about that.
But, I think it was that period that began, Sir Rick's body starting to learn to fight things on its own without water, without medicine, without the help of doctors. My body, it's much like Spider-Man, or who got bit by the spider?
That was
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
As a true warrior, you can sustain yourself on a single grain of rice for a whole week. Isn't that right? That's some old
Spartan. Wasn't that like Spartan? I think that was a Spartan theory. I don't necessarily know that was true, but I'm going to go out and say that I've heard some of that, but I don't know that there's any true historical fact, because most of the time you want your warriors well fed and well prepared and well nourished before battle.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Oh,
why do we keep
hang on,
losing?
this shield's a little heavy, and
why do we keep losing these battles? Deny yourself.
Deny yourself. But remember they used to feed you all those salt pills, and you used to take salt pills, and I was always like, yeah, not good. But you know what? We live and we learn, and we've understood that water is actually pretty good for you.
It is good for you. And, drive safe. We're going to get into a little bit of more conversations. Buckle up. Bob gets here going into the safety aspect. But we do want you to know, we talked about it again this morning on the Freight and Review. Man, freight continues to ship out pretty high. Yep. There's a lot of freight moving out. Dallas freight's very high out. Atlanta, the freight's high out of. There's just a lot of freight moving on right now. It's reefer season. That produce is going like crazy still. And massive prices. If you're out there, if you're a produce hauler, this is your time right now. And you know what? Did you haul produce?
You know what? I
not potatoes.
No.
I mean like real produce. Because
the onions, do those count as produce?
No, they do not. Okay. Produce is real. Produce to me, and that's when people ask you about produce. Produce guarantees what? Mini stops.
Yeah, I hated them.
It was a stop.
I've had my fair share of grocery warehouses. I have a hard time with them. I used to have a hard time with grocery warehouses. I never could understand how they made you pay so much money to deliver their freight.
And you know what? But back in the day, if you're out there right now, and if you want to comment on this for a second, go ahead. But back in the day, those lumpers came out of the driver's pocket. Anymore, it really doesn't. I know we as drivers, we still get upset about these high lumpers. Well, listen, it's all a pass-through. It doesn't matter to us anymore. Who do we got out there?
Yeah, we got Jeff Marsh. What do you got for us, sir?
So the lumpers they're not charging you to deliver the freight. What it is the grocery warehouses, they don't have their own forklift drivers. So like they hire out forklift drivers. So you're actually paying the forklift drivers to do their job and stuff like that. So you're not. So these companies come from other areas. Like I think it's Laser Spot that comes out that's in Atlanta or something like that. And they come out and they hire all these forklift drivers. And then you're paying an outside person it'd be like you going out there and finding somebody that knows how to drive a forklift. Hey, I'll pay you this much money if you go in here and unload. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just that these guys are bonded and everything, and they got to know how to drive forklifts and stuff.
Yes, sir. Hey, but before the days of Larry Jeffrey out there driving. Before Jeffrey out there. This is going back. I'm going to go before those days, and probably before your time, when trucking was trucking, these boys were pulling produce. I'm telling you, it came out of their pockets back before as a pass-through. Back in the day, anybody confirm or deny that? Drive Safe, can you?
No, I will tell you that I've paid many a times at whether it be a warehouse or two to get unloaded quickly and effectively. Yes. I've come out of my pocket that had nothing to do with the pass-through, but make sure that I either got moved to the front of the line or that my truck got offloaded quickly and effectively with everybody involved, whether it be just a cash or some other form of what would you call it? Bribe?
Favors?
I don't know about favors.
Don't meet them in the warehouse.
Yeah, but we did. But there were many times that we did that to do whatever we could to get empty and unloaded. We actually paid out of our own pockets to make that happen.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know where we're going with that. Produce is moving like nuts right now, right? Like crazy.
It is moving, and not only all refrigerated. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, freight's moving all across the country, whether it be dry box or whether it be reefer or anything like that. It's pretty much in demand. Reefers are in demand, dry boxes are in demand, even flatbeds. Everything's in demand right there.
Jobs are in demand.
Absolutely.
The jobs are just, they're everywhere you go. Either they're not fully staffed or they are fully staffed and they're just buying them some excuses, right?
Yeah, I was actually reading the other day. I didn't read through the whole article. I just saw it and was like, wow, that's crazy. But apparently there's 1 million more jobs than there are people willing to take said jobs 1 million jobs.
What was it? Somebody said the other day on the air that they went to, what was it, Staples the other day? They went to Staples and the door was closed and it just said a note on the door. It says not enough people to open the doors today. I mean,
and when has that ever been acceptable except for right now? I mean, in my life, in your life, have you ever seen that acceptable?
No, not at all. I mean, you've always been able to find people to at least open the doors, right? You may have the manager there. You might not have the most proficient person behind the counter, or you might have not. They might have been a warehouse guy out there working the register and may not have been able to do it very well. But generally, you found a way to get the door open.
Yeah, and there's never been ever an easier time to sell the BCBs of trucking because nobody's on time anyway, right? So be safe, communicate, and if you can't be on time, so you know what? All the reasons to be safe. Every reason's out there to be safe because today in the restaurants and delivery, hey, there's a lot of grace being given right now because most of us are just happy to get it at some time. But drive safe. We've always have to be safe, no matter what.
Well, we joke around a lot and we play around a lot, but really the message has always been the same, and it'll continue to be the same. That whatever we can do to help facilitate, whatever we can do to help bring you the BCBs of trucking, and making sure that we all understand that out there today you have the opportunity to make a difference. You have the opportunity today to change somebody's life for the better by being safe.
Yeah. Whether you're out on the highway just loving your job, feeling blessed with the presence of Buckle Up Bob. After this run, I'll get home to the one that I love. Safety! Drive safety!
That's me.
He's got the power to get the job done. Spreading the news, sharing his views, solid as brick.
Here comes Sir Rick.
You've been
Safety Straw.
Producer, you missed it. Back when we used to do this song, Music Man Mike would come in if we sang it without him. Pissed.
Oh,
I thought he was at the window just now. I looked over and I was like,
tell you, that dude.
What are you doing?
Oh yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
sitting there with his arms crossed.
You guys were so off key
Just waiting.
and you weren't on time.
I wrote that song.
I wrote that. That's
that
mine.
song.
Where's my credits? Nobody, the label doesn't care about the artist anymore, you know?
He would, and when we would have like a guest in here to do it, or we'd have somebody, he would walk by and mean mug, you know, and for the rest of the day, and it wouldn't just be. Remember when he sat right over there? He would mean mug you the whole day because you had offered up someone else to sing his song.
And he would, oftentimes he would wait until the very last second to come in here.
Oh,
to make you wonder.
Yeah, like is he coming? Is he coming?
And then when he got in here last second, for somebody that wrote the song, you'd think that he would remember the words.
He'd make new ones up
all the time. Make new words up, forget the words, add people in there, do this, do that. It was out of control.
You gotta let the artist have free form. You can't have every show be the same, right? You can't have every show be the
That's
same.
like when you're out there, we love you, Detroit, and you're in Philadelphia, right? I mean,
the guy comes up with the microphone. They're like, "Hey, actually, this is Dallas."
You will get booed. You will
get booed. Hey, we're getting close to the safety time when Buckle Up Bob gets in here. I don't know if Dale's in here, but you know what? Drive safe. We have a phrase that pays to give out.
We do have a phrase that pays, and that phrase that pays is.
Go ahead. What are you waiting on?
Don't stress when traffic's a mess. Slowing your roll is good for your soul.
One more time.
Don't stress when traffic's a mess. Slowing your roll is good for your soul.
Not bad. And drive safe. You gave us today. You told us what that means. Can you remember that again today? Do you know what that does? It mean something different to you this afternoon?
No, it means exactly the same thing to me. It means that when you're out there and you're dealing with the traffic, just slow down and make sure. And what it'll do is it'll get you down in your heart. You will remember that you're doing it for safety, and it is all about safety today. We'll be right.
Whoa. We still got 2 minutes.
Oh, we do?
We got 2 minutes here. You know what? Let's do a game real quick.
Come on, game guy.
All right, what can we play? We got a thing here. Let's play Spin the Bottle. But what is the thing? There's 4 of us
I'm going to have to call HR before we get this started. I don't know about this.
Hold on. We're not doing the kissing thing. We're going to do something else. So this is the end right here. Right here. This is the side that points to you. Or closest to you. Anything close, I'll be the judge and I'll be fair. But what do we have to do?
All right.
We have 2 minutes.
Okay. Any safety sign you can think of on the road today? Any sign that you can say that it's any safety sign?
What does that mean?
Yield.
All right, so you got to just what? Okay, we're going to start with you and go around.
Yeah, okay, ready?
Okay, the last one does it. It's a rotten neck. Here we go. Playing spin the bottle.
How you're gonna have to stop
hold
that?
on, it's going to stop. It's
Oh
gonna
my
stop.
God, that could spin
it
for an
won't
hour.
Spin forever. And we're starting with. It can go a while, right? Drive safe, Dave.
Stop sign.
Yield.
Yeah, traffic light.
How's that a sign?
That's a light.
Is that not a sign?
No,
Does
you
that not
lost. You know
signal
what?
you something?
We'll do it again. Start it.
All right, I'm gonna go with construction zone.
Speed limit sign.
Do not pass.
Yield.
Merge.
I thought we were doing this once around. All right.
No, we're going to keep going.
You lose again, sir.
Yep, I'll take 2 on the chin just like that. So that's fine.
Curve.
Traffic sign ahead. Traffic signal ahead, sorry.
Clearance.
Once again, I will lose this round.
Dude, do you get on the highway? I'm just curious. Do you
Do
get
you
out?
look
I
at
do,
the
and I'm just
sign?
loving
you
my
look at
job.
what's going on out
just
there?
Oh, no,
clear
because
all
I'm paying
the way?
attention to
Is
the road.
life
I'm
that
sorry.
good for you?
Okay, so
from
here,
point
you
A
want to do
point
it?
B?
You want to start again? School zone.
No, we're not. We're
I thought
done
that
with
was the light. I thought that was the light. Are we not doing lights? Because I
How is that a light?
It was a sign.
It's a sign. Have you
Traffic
been
sign.
in a school
Did
zone?
you pass your school? Did you really have a driver's license?
I want to see.
Or
his
did you
driver's
Pass the
license.
test at a C? Did you at least get the C?
He had somebody take it for him.
Hey, you know what? Here at BCB Live, it's about what you do, not what we do here on the road. You continue doing your part because you see it right here. We need a lot of help.
We do.
Hi, welcome. We have Sam here. He is one of our wonderful planners, and we're going to do a rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yes.
So you know what it is?
No.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's roll.
What would you eat a day-old taquito from 7-Eleven?
Negative.
What's the most number of hours you've watched TV in a single day?
8.
Do you Instagram your food?
Actually, I don't have any social media.
There you go. Would you rather have friends taller than 6'4" or shorter than 5 foot?
Play ball, so a lot of guys I hoop with are actually taller than 6'4". So
If there's a spider in your house, do you kill it or set it free?
I get the hell out the house. I don't do
Burn the house
spiders
down?
or snakes.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Dark.
Say something cool.
What's happening?
Thank you so much.
This is Drive Safe Dave.
Hey, welcome this afternoon to the Buckle Up Bob show. No, I mean the BCB Live show. Sorry, I am Buckle Up Bob with
And I'm
Dale Great.
No, I'm going to double check Dale today.
Double check Dale. All right,
there you
everybody.
go, DCD.
Hey, this week, we've got 2 weeks, folks, to really get out in front of our brake safety week coming up August 22nd. So, we're going to talk this week a lot about what causes some of the violations and some of the brake failures. Next week, we're working on getting a brake mechanic in here and some other things of what to check, how to check, what we want you to do, what they want you to do to help maintain your brakes and keep them in that good operating order so that you don't get the violations. We really want to get, we know when our culture has changed, when we're not worried about these weeks coming up, right? We're not worried about getting hammered because our drivers are going to do what they need to do to not be in violation. And unfortunately, we're not there yet. We got 2 weeks to get there or get darn close. But, I had a conversation with a driver who dropped a trailer and the ABS was disconnected because it wasn't working properly and it was zip tied up and everything. And they said they never saw it. And I'm like, how do you miss this? We got pictures, right? So, again, it's one of those things we have to address. And we are. And I bring that up not to scare or threaten anybody. I just want you to understand, because I know there's some out there to believe, well, why report it? Nothing happens. That is the farthest from the truth. When you take pictures and report it, we do deal with it, right? And again, at some point, if a driver, we record all this stuff, so if a driver just keeps getting the same kind of issues, then we know we have a driver that doesn't care about BCB or the fellow drivers, and we don't need them here. Then we bring them up for, hey, this driver doesn't really care about our culture, doesn't want to participate. Was there a bug on me? I felt so sorry. You know, and just not part of the culture that we want to provide here at BCB. So again, keep doing what you're doing. Don't let the fact that you hook up to a trailer that shouldn't have been dropped like that deter you from doing your job. You know, one of the things I learned, my dad taught me years ago, I know Lonnie's grandfather did, nobody is going to prevent me from doing a good job. That is 100% on me. I can use all the excuses in the world, but at the end of the day, I got to own what I can own, and that's what I'm going to do. And so, again, I encourage all you drivers out there to do the same thing. Whether you're with BCB, whether you're for another carrier, pre-trip the equipment thoroughly. Find the brake issues. Find them tire issues. These are the critical point getters. You know, you can survive a lot of violations if we eliminate the big point getters, right? And again, just as a reminder, these stay on your record for 3 years. Okay, they come in about a 20 to 40 minute inspection, but they stay there for 3 years because whatever the points are, they're going to multiply it by 3, and that's what comes down. Every year on the anniversary date, that 3 goes to a 2, to a 1, to a 0. So that 40-minute inspection will last on your record for 3 years, and it only comes down in a third. So, folks, and our first one that they list as problem with the truck brakes is just neglect. You know, brakes, like many parts of a commercial motor vehicle, they have a lifespan, right? And it's limited. So how do you catch the things that are nearing the end of their lifespan? Well, you've got to do simple checks, you know, and we're going to have some of them as we go through next week what to do. But you've got to do the good pre-trip. You've got to listen for air leaks. You've got to look at the brake pads on the other side when you're on the one side. Look at anything that looks like, if they look a little thin, get them checked. We're not asking you to crawl under there and measure. You know, we just want you, hey, that looks close, and I'm going to go get it checked. And that's the key, is just to get somebody that is qualified to check these things. Hey, but the good news is we are starting another week, and we are at 83 days without a preventable accident, and we are at, that would put us at 24 with Get Out and Look. So great job, everybody. Let's keep up the good work with that. And then we're going to go ahead and start, and we'll look at some weather here. Welcome back to Bob Live with weather. Oh, it says BCB, but it just looks like it says Bob Live. So I think it rolls good, right? So you ever see the Geico commercial with the gecko? It says, can you go back to the dramatic one? Well, that works for me. I have a flat tire, right? The Buckle Up Bob show. No, I'm just kidding. We are back with some live weather. As you can see, it's kind of splintered a little bit. We had a big system here that was pushing through Illinois and Indiana. It's still there, but it seems to have kind of spread out and made more little storms, if you will, but not that big concentrated area. And then we got all the scattered showers throughout the Gulf Coast and start up the East Coast, the Carolinas. Not much going on west, which is not a good sign. We really need to get some rain right up in here in the Chico area, Redding, but Chico and Redding, where that Dixie fire is just burning out of control. But let's see if they're going to get some, right? Here's our forecast for the next, this is at 2 p.m. today. Let's see this evening. It kind of dies down. You can see Chicago. Moving into Michigan, you're going to see some potential for some very strong storms. Again, up there in North Dakota, western Tennessee. And tomorrow morning when we wake up, again, St. Paul, Detroit, that system moves in. You can see it kind of arc through the Ohio Valley down into northern Tennessee. So could see some storms in that area when you wake up. Still nothing out in California. Oh, we need some rain bad out there. Lord, help them. Still nothing expected in the afternoon. Hopefully that will not be the truth and something will develop. Now you can see tomorrow afternoon, pretty much the entire eastern east of the Mississippi here is going to have the potential for some rain. So again, this is forecasted potential. Doesn't mean it's actually going to rain there. As we see today, the rain is all in this area, but it's scattered all over the place. So you're not going to see it just because it says all of Tennessee. You might see some scattered storms there, right? Again, Most of Pennsylvania should see some rain tomorrow. And we get out here west, if we're taking the I-40 or the I-10, we're going to be looking at some rain in New Mexico and Arizona into Southern California, not where the fires are. But it should cool some things down with the temperatures. So again, tomorrow at 4, hey, Vegas week was near 115, right? And that very tip, it began with an S. I was trying to remember it. Couldn't do it. Searchlight. All right, Searchlight was at 115 last week. Now it's at 88 forecast for tomorrow afternoon, this afternoon. And we're in for a heat wave, I believe. So they're going to be cooling down overnight because, as you can see, triple digits today, 104 in Las Vegas. Dallas, we were in the low 90s, upper 80s last week. We're looking at 96 for today. And then as we go through tomorrow afternoon, I did hear that we were supposed to get some pretty strong heat. 97, 98 in Oklahoma. So going to be hot as that heat that was there last week is moving to the Midwest. You can see, again, stretching all the way up in the middle of the country, the middle part of the country. I already said that. I thought there was something different way to go there. So again, we're going to have some strong heat there. And our wind gusts, not much, which is a good thing for the fires out there in California today. Not supposed to get much either. So hopefully that gives them firefighters some relief. If you've seen the pictures, it is phenomenal. I think there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 structures already burnt to the ground. We'll show real quick on the map there. There we go. So right here, let me pull it up. It's really the ones we got to watch. This is the Dixie Fire, okay? So again, almost 500,000 acres, 21%. That was as of this morning at 8 o'clock, all right? So when we zoom in here, let me get the map that shows you the interstates and stuff, if we will. So we kind of see some of the highways we don't want to touch, right? And this one crossing here, I believe is 36 from Susanville. Zoom in, there it is. So 36 right there in the heart of it there. So basically, there's no place to go from Westwood, so we're going to say from Susanville all the way out here to 32 and 89, we don't want to be, right? So again, let's find a town in there somewhere that we can kind of use as a reference point. Fire Mountain Mineral, I guess. I guess them are towns. So again, 36 off limits. So is, I believe it was 70. Let me shrink it down a little bit and see if I can find my 70 here. There it is. So 70 is coming up here to Quincy. Again, we don't want to wait till Quincy because there's no real truck routes to go. So from Portola, California, all right, 70 is off limits all the way down to Concow, let's say, right? So Concow, California, 70 kind of goes east and west, but it kind of goes up north and then drops a little bit south. And then, of course, the last one was, I believe it was one of the 80s here, 89. So we want to stay off of 89 as well, okay? And again, that's going to be from Kronberg all the way up here to Hamilton Branch. So again, stay off of them highways. Just stay out of this area. If you know you're going to be anywhere near this area, let's stop and make a plan. Get with myself or Dale, and we'll pull up the chart, and let's see if we can't find you a safe alternate route, and we'll get with your DM and planners. So again, as we said, don't drive in smoke, right? From what I've been told on the weather, the smoke is reaching all the way to Illinois and Ohio from this fire. So again, it's not drifting south. They said some northern parts of Texas, maybe the Panhandle, Oklahoma, might see some of the smoke, but most of it is going across the upper third or upper half, if you will. So again, this smoke is being felt in the haze and stuff all the way to Ohio, through Indiana and stuff. So be mindful of that as well. We find the one here that we wanted to stay. There it is. So again, 93, this Trail Creek fire. Again, 23%. It's a lot smaller, but it's still 35,000, almost 36,000 acres. So again, we want to avoid 93 north and south here. Typically, we're on the backside, so shouldn't be a problem. Most of these fires, as you can see, they start here And you can see they moved to the east because that's usually the wind direction. This one's kind of moved east, southeast. So 93 is probably okay, but if you got to use 93, call in. Let's make sure. Again, we can measure to see, just to show you how close this is. You know, and we can just touch anywhere on here to there, right? And we're looking at 4.5 miles, give or take. So you can see that may look a big distance on the map, but it's not. It's less than 5 miles from the edge of that fire. If the wind turns around and goes the other direction, you could be in trouble. So we want to really make sure that 93 is open and that we're not having any issues there. And so with that, we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some videos.
Hi, welcome. I have Heather here from our dispatch team. She's a DM. Many of you may have her as a DM. Lucky you. We're going to do a rapid fire. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Dawn or dusk?
Ooh, dusk.
Favorite season?
Spring.
What's for dinner tonight?
Ooh, probably something out of the freezer.
How many pull-ups can you do in a row?
0.
Are reindeers real creatures?
Yes.
Are you politically correct?
No.
Do you know how to salsa dance?
No.
And your favorite type of muffin?
Ooh, blueberry.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi, and welcome to another round of...
Welcome back. It is now Video Kellen.
There we go. There we go. Let's start the videos, Mr. Producer. I like this first one. You know, been talking a lot about following distance, and that's really why this one is up there. We're running just about 70 miles an hour. At 70 miles an hour, we need at least a 6 to 7 second buffer between us. No point in this video do we get it. We just got to stay back in that, keep that following distance. We talk about reaction time and brake lag and all that. Like I said, at 70 miles an hour, we're just way too close, and then we zip out behind this other vehicle. So let's really focus on, you know, keeping our following distance, keeping the, keeping the safe passes out there. You know, I like this one. This is good following distance. You look at it, how far away they are. And so when the vehicle ahead of us starts braking and slowing down, that lane starts braking and slowing down, that gives our driver plenty of time, ample time to get slowed down and come up behind him, and we don't, close that following distance all the way up. So nice job, driver. Way to keep your following distance, looking at the big picture. As soon as that vehicle starts to brake, you're on it. So nice job.
You know, and I like that we're in the right lane. Yes, it's going to come to a stop, but folks, one thing that jumps out here at me is keeping your head on swivel. Look at all you've got to manage. There's 4 lanes of traffic, right? And so one of the things that you've done, again, it does not eliminate that shoulder. We know that. But odds are there's not going to be a whole lot going on out there on the shoulder. And now you've got all your concentration. You've kind of isolated your big picture to help put it in a manageable window, if you will. Because now, if you're in the middle, man, you're looking right, left, behind, mirrors. Right. Got to keep all this stuff, people cutting you off. Well, there's not a whole lot of room to be cut off here other than come from your left, which is the driver's side, which is the safest side to be able to see more clearly and get that bigger picture. Great job.
I like this one because here's one that shows a great thing we always talk about adjusting your speed given the road conditions, the lighting conditions, the weather conditions. And here we see we have no shoulders on either side, and our driver's done a great job of slowing down. We're running about 50 miles an hour here. So kudos to the driver on that, taking the road conditions into consideration when he adjusts the speed limit. So great job, driver.
I tell you, and a lot of four-wheelers, I know I did, get nervous with them Jersey walls and no shoulder, right? Even though the lanes are still the same width, they just don't appear to be. And so, again, where I hated it was Pennsylvania. When I lived there for 4 years, you don't need construction to have these no shoulders. They're there all over the highways. And it is just harrowing when you're like in traffic and it's like, nobody has any room. You're in a bottle, and there's no room to get out. So great job here again.
Yep. And I guess I should have went with stale Dale today because this one's a stale green light, but our driver does just a super job. Knows that the light's been green for a while and actually starts slowing down before the light goes to yellow. So, great job, big picture, planning ahead, keeping the eyes moving. just a wonderful job of showing, how to manage a stale green light.
Great job. That's what we want to see. Of course, we can't show them all good, right?
Yep.
So, hey, here's one where I had the conversation with the driver, and we had good conversation this morning. I think it was Mr. Jones that gave up some great reasons. Well, not great reasons, but real reasons, right? Just because they're not the safest thing to do doesn't mean they're no less real. But we're making a U-turn in an intersection on a left turn, right? So again, you've got these people that could make a right turn there, that you're coming into their line of view as well, and they're going to be sitting there, what the heck? And again, I think Jim said, a lot of it is just you don't know how further you got to go down, and that's why we talk about these things. In this case, obviously, we have 2 filling stations, one on each corner on the left, that if we just went ahead and made our left turn, we could have pulled into either one of them and probably got back in the right direction. So again, just something we can learn from. Hey, yeah, I know I want to do this, but hey, there's 2 gas stations there while I'm at this traffic light. Let's pick one of those to turn around in if we can.
Yeah, looking for that safest option. There, like I said, you're in a place you don't know, and so that would have been a real safe option to make that left-hand turn and then get turned around and come back at it.
I think one of the hardest things for our drivers, or any driver, four-wheelers not as much, but it's still complicated because four-wheelers are more inexperienced. So it kind of relates in the same way, but I think all the stuff you have to process in such a short time. That's why you really got to talk about these to yourself or to your fellow drivers and have an idea. If you're always talking about it, it will come back second nature to you where you don't spend all that time thinking about it. You'll know at a light, I don't have that option to U-turn. I've got to either go left and find a place or go straight and find a place. But it's talking about that. But again, just processing all that. And you've got less time because you're heavier. You don't stop as fast. That's why we talk so much about increasing that space and getting off of that gas. I know it goes against conventional wisdom. I know it goes against the mindset that I just got to keep moving down the highway at a decent clip. Not speeding, but just got to keep going. I don't want to break that momentum. But at the end of the day, that's not the safest option. And as we talk about this, I love the fact when drivers get on here, they see a video and they go, you know what? I was thinking this way. Now listening to other drivers, I'm thinking this other way. And that's the whole purpose of this. So great job, great videos. But remember, our policy is never make a U-turn. It really is. Because it is just unsafe to do so in 99% of the cases, including that one. We got away with it and there was no cars, but that's just luck, right? Who we got there, producer?
Yeah, we got Curtis Benedict. What do you got for us,
Hey,
sir?
Curtis, good afternoon, sir.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. Dale, I think you should go with double your distance, Dale.
Whoa, I like it. Double D. Double distance Dale.
There we go.
I love it. That is probably one of my favorite.
Anyways, I just want to let everybody know if you're coming across 70 here in Ohio, just outside of Columbus, it is raining extremely hard. Traffic is at about 30 miles an hour in both directions. Also, I had passed this on to my DM, but there was, I'm quite certain, a fatality accident on I-70 outside of Dayton, Ohio. It looked like, what is it, those cab over little straight trucks that drive around?
Yeah.
Rear-ended some kind of tanker truck or something, and needless to say, it didn't end well for who was ever in that little truck. So, so they got westbound 70 there by Dayton pretty much at a standstill. The only lane open is the Hammer lane, and it's backed up for about 6 miles. So that's all I got. Go ahead, Dick.
Hey, Curtis, is that still really like a really big mix master? I know years ago they were adding highways, ramps, and exits. Is that just all a big jumble mess now, or are they still under construction in that Dayton area?
The Dayton area is finished. Right now it's Columbus, Ohio, that's doing a lot of construction here, and it's from one week to another, it seems like it switches all over the place. So you just got to really be on your toes here in Columbus.
Yeah, you got to watch that Dayton area. Isn't
So-
that the area with the UFO? There's an Air Force base just north of that. That is actually, they say, has more secrets than Area 51. I watched a documentary once, and nobody talks about that Air Force base up there. But yeah,
that part of
go ahead, Curtis.
yeah, that's out of my pay range. I was just gonna say that's out of my pay range.
Hey, but yeah. But no, you know what? And I know it kind of can bring down the mood occasionally, but I think we need to do that as a reality check. You know, that's how quick life and death decisions can be. And why it's so important to slow the speed down, to increase the space. You just don't know. You know, I've had times where I swear I saw everything and was slowing down, but for whatever reason, I wasn't slowing down as quick as I thought. And then boom, all of a sudden I got to slam on the brakes because I thought I was slowing down, but it just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was just a misinterpretation or feeling. You know, and that's why I always say you got to drive by your gauges, because you can feel like you're doing something and you're really not. And so, great point, just as a reminder that, hey, everything we do, folks, when people get mad at, because we have a pretty firm opinion on something and it doesn't agree with you, that's okay. What the whole goal at all this is that we protect life, that you don't die. You know, what's the saying? Not on my watch, right? That's what I'd like for all of us to adopt. I'd like for the office, say, hey, not on my watch am I going to let anything happen to my drivers. Hey, not on my watch am I going to have an accident. I'm going to do everything possible, even if it's against my own desires and my own thought processes, to slow down and increase that space, right? As we've got double space Dale, double distance. I like double space Dale. But double distance Dale, triple D. Love that. Great analogy. Who else?
I like
we
that,
got anybody
Curtis.
else there, producer?
Yeah, we got Donna Kaysen. What do you got for us, Donna?
Hey, Donna.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. When you speak of, you know, making decisions and everything, you know, number one, these speed limits out here are set for cars, and they're a suggestion. Just because you're going through a town and it says 40 miles an hour, you don't have to go 45 miles an hour. It is not set in stone. You've got to really pay attention on as far as the construction goes and everything as well, because I went to Golden this weekend, and there was so much construction going on in different areas. It was just crazy. You know, coming in where you had to take, where I-70 was shut down because they were paving.
Yep.
And you had to take, you know, 270 to 76. I mean, for miles, it was telling everybody I-70's closed down. You know, this is the route to take, and nobody was paying attention to it. When they got real close to where, you know, you had to exit off on 270, you know, I mean, it was craziness. And then they had, you know, there's construction that's just popping up left and right. And going to Golden, you exit off to go to 58 to get off the next exit to go to Coors. And the TA there in Wheat Ridge, that exit is closed going west. So if you want to go to the TA, you have to go follow, you know, the detour signs, and you really got to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But
No U-turn.
this afternoon when I was coming through these little towns, you know, it went in, you know, dropped down to like 30 miles an hour, and yeah, it was 4 lanes. But these trucks, it just, I don't get it. I don't know why they feel that they have to race and speed through these towns, which, you know, there's times where there's police and other times, most of the time, there isn't.
Yeah.
But, you know, my lane was ending, and I turned my signal. Of course, I'm watching these big trucks coming, and he flashed his lights at me like I was going to jump out in front of him. All I did was back off. It didn't cost me anything, and I let them drivers go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's just craziness. But the decisions we got to make out here is to protect life and to be safe, to get from point A to point B. You know, we need to step up our game, fellow drivers. We need to step up our game and do the right thing even when nobody is looking. That's all I had.
Hey, appreciate that.
Thank you.
I sent out a fleet message and one to everybody today. You know, I can't list every highway, folks. I'd be there typing for an hour, but I gave you some of the main interstates. Missouri is under construction, as you all got. I gave you, I-70 area, in the St. Louis area, I-44 around St. Robert there, right before, that's about, 60, 80 miles from Springfield, Missouri, east of there. I gave you the 270 loop in St. Louis. They don't even need construction for that thing to be jammed. I drove that for years, and it's unbelievable because I'll see everything backed up, and I'm like, but there's no accidents. I said, it's unbelievable how they drive there. Then over in the Kansas City area, the metro area, a ton of bridge work. I wonder if a lot of this bridge work has because of what happened in Memphis, right? And all the trouble they got in, that these other states kind of kicked in the gear, because when I looked at the Missouri one, there are so many bridge reconstructions, bridge building. And there was even one, which I don't understand, but maybe one of the drivers can, but it said intersection reconstruction. What? How do you destroy an intersection that it needs reconstructed? My guess is they're adding lanes to turn lanes and that kind of stuff to redesign. Yeah, one of them was even that. It was highway outdated, redesigning the highways. So again, that's in Missouri as well. So again, just, hey, if you're going through Missouri, expect delays, expect construction, plan accordingly. Don't forget about your sleeper burst split, right? Or your 14-hour pause. When you're in these construction zones, if you're hungry, go get a bite to eat. And so, hey, with that, folks, great job. We are going to talk with everybody again tomorrow morning. Again, watch the brakes. Let's get on top of these brakes, folks. And tires. Let's not forget about the tires. They're not just going to focus on brakes. Trust me, if they got you in there looking at the brakes, that takes a pretty good in-depth inspection. They're probably going to go ahead and take the time to look at the rest of the truck since they've already spent that much time on the brakes.
They're walking past the tires to get to the brakes.
Yeah, that's right. And that's an easy check. So, hey, focus on our tires and brakes. I really want to challenge, and I bet Sir Rick and Big Blue will step up with some kind of a gift cards or dinner or something for our drivers. Let's challenge this week. And let's just go the whole month of August, because we know August is the most deadliest month of the year, typically. Let's go with 100% clean inspections, right? And maybe we'll even add a little bit of extra incentive for getting clean inspections during that week. Something like that to kind of, hey, let's get out and do our jobs. Hey, everybody, great job. Let's kick off this week. We will talk with everybody again tomorrow.